The Gun Shop Show, the Gun Shop Show. What is it? We don't know. The Gun Shop Show, the Gun Shop Show. Here we go, it's the Gun Shop Show.
Welcome. This is the Gun Shop Show. I'm your host, Eli Bruton, owner of Liberty Tree Guns, where this show is coming to you from the sales floor. And this is unlike any program that you have heard before.
That's true.
And joining me, as always, in the homemade control room is my man, Trevor.
Hello!
And to my right-hand man is Logan Jones. Logan. We have a great show topic for you today, which is the hunt for Bonnie and Clyde. So if you're just joining us and haven't heard us before, you may have missed last week's episode, which was the guns of Bonnie and Clyde, where we broke down how Bonnie and Clyde's firepower is what made them so infamous, and it's why they're still on our tongue so many years later. But there was so much more that we needed to cover that we decided to do a whole nother episode, which is more tailored to how they went down and who brought them down. But I want to say big special welcome to all of you new listeners on KSGF Springfield.
We're excited to have you guys.
Super excited to have you.
Mm-hmm.
Big thanks to Nick Reed and the crew down there at Summit Media. They heard the Gun Shop Show, liked it, said our listeners are going to love it. So appreciate you. If you're here for something else and you think, who are these guys? Stick with us. You might just find something you like.
We grow on you.
If you like guns, or if you like guys that are
or humor
guys that are not taking themselves too serious, you might just like this show.
I don't take myself serious at all.
The other thing,
we know.
The other thing is, you always get a chance to get some free merch, which we're going to give away today. If one of the things you need, if you're a fan of the Gun Shop Show, is a way to represent. So you're going to want a Liberty Tree Guns bumper sticker.
That's right, because what's going to happen with that?
We're doing a giveaway coming up soon where you take you can win a gun, by the way.
A gun?
From Liberty Tree Guns?
From Liberty Tree Guns.
Like how much do you have to pay for it, though?
It'd be free.
Oh.
Free?
All you got to do is take a picture with some of our swag, which is the things that I'm giving you completely for free. So this all probably sounds too good to be true, you know? We're giving away free merch, then all you got to do is take a picture with free merch, and then you have a chance to win your a free gun just for doing that. So let me run down the things you can get, and anybody can get these, by the way.
Anybody.
Totally free, and it doesn't matter if you want to come pick it up in store or you want to have us ship it. You go to where, Logan?
LibertyTreeGuns.com. You're going to click on the Liberty Tree merch tab at the top. Click on the merch section. It'll be there free of charge.
Woo.
Yeah, you get on there. You can get all of these things, which is the Liberty Tree decal,
Free stuff.
the Liberty Tree koozie, hand koozie, and it's really bright lime green.
Yeah,
the camera,
you can see that from a mile away.
It's so
Kinda
green the
washes
camera
it out, yeah.
can't even believe it.
Yeah.
And so there's a bunch of those, pretty much unlimited amount of those that you can get when you know, if you know somebody that would like them. Also, free hats.
Oh.
Yeah. So I got 3 flavors of free hats today. Got a white hat, a teal hat, and a navy blue hat.
Well, those the white and the teal one's got that subdued American flag on it, so you can support it without being too
100% freedom.
Those are all free, but the next thing I'm going to tell you, there's only one of. So you have to have the fastest fingers to snatch this. I'm giving away a core gun belt.
You're doing what?
Yeah, this is the belt that I use.
That's crazy.
There's different styles. If you're not wearing a gun-specific belt when you carry a gun,
You're gonna want
to.
get your life together.
So
what
this
are you doing with your life?
Is a rigid core gun belt, and I was just amazed at the difference that it made in the comfort level of the gun, and then it's the adjustability as well. And we've covered these on the show before, but this is the first time ever that we've given you one for free.
That's right.
So you might think, well, that looks awfully tactical. I wouldn't want to wear that day to day.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to wear that to church or to a business meeting.
But never fear. Look at this.
Or to your prom date.
And by the way, KSGF and all radio listeners, we're just giving them some special love because this is their first episode.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard. But you can see what we're doing by going to Facebook
Or YouTube.
Yep.
or YouTube. We're live there, and you can see what we're holding up. But look at this leather belt.
Man, that thing is so nice. It looks like dress shoes almost.
That is high
It's dress shoes
quality leather.
Yeah. So you've got that adjustable quarter-inch increments, so you can adjust to go with your concealed carry gun. It's going to make a huge difference.
Those belts are so rigid, I'm pretty sure that you could cut vegetables with them.
Yeah, I have before.
Yep.
It's also going to be
super comfortable, super durable, and that was a product that I saw the value instantly. The first time I tried them on, made a difference in my life. It can make a difference in your life. Get one for free today at libertytreeguns.com. All you have to do is go there, be the first one to snag it. You get your choice of styles, any of the core belts. Okay.
You ready?
I've got a monologue that I did in last show about Bonnie and Clyde, but I've added a little snippet.
Got part 2 to it?
Yep. And so give me just 1 second, and I'm going to be ready to bring you the guns of Bonnie and Clyde and the hunt for Bonnie and Clyde.
Sip first. Got to wet that whistle.
Glug, 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 glug.
Here we go. Roll it. Throughout American history, millions of people live and die, and for the vast majority of them, we never know them, and we certainly don't remember their names. However, on rare occasions, people leave a mark, and history never forgets them. Usually it's because they made an impact, or a difference, or changed the world for the better. But today, we're talking about 2 names that nearly everyone knows. Those names are Bonnie and Clyde. But why? Clyde Barrow and Bonnie Parker didn't make the world a better place. In fact, they were horrible people, murderers and thieves, who had little to no regard for their fellow man. During the 1930s, there were many criminals. It was almost the theme of the Depression era. So why do we remember Bonnie and Clyde more than all the others? Well, I think it was their firepower that made the difference. Bonnie and Clyde carefully selected the things that they carried with them. Their story was aimless, senseless, almost pointless. But it was their penchant for violence and their ability to wage it so effectively that leaves their names on the tongues of almost a century later. Bonnie and Clyde's story ended just the way it had carried on. 2 weeks before her death, Bonnie wrote a poem which she gave to her mother. The title was The Trail's End. Someday they'll go down together, and they'll bury them side by side. To a few, it'll be grief. To the law, a relief. But it's death for Bonnie and Clyde. Until the final showdown, most, actually all the lawmen who faced Bonnie and Clyde had lost. We know that at least 13 people died at the hands of Bonnie and Clyde. 9 of them were police officers. The whole country had become aware of Bonnie and Clyde and knew they had to be stopped. But the task was no small one. It wasn't for the faint of heart. Most policemen know that their job could become dangerous at any moment. But in this case, it was known that whoever was chosen to deal with Bonnie and Clyde would have to be ready to use violence. Clyde knew, Bonnie knew, that their fate was sealed. But the question was, how long could they ride their crazy ride? If they could kill before being killed, they could live to fight one more day. There's a saying that goes, people sleep peaceably in their beds at night, only because rough men stand ready to do violence on their behalf. America had endured enough from Bonnie and Clyde. It was time to look for that rough man. The chosen one turned out to be just the man for the job. That man was retired Texas Ranger Frank Hamer. Stay tuned. This is The Hunt for Bonnie and Clyde. The guy that took down Bonnie and Clyde was named Frank Hamer. Mm-hmm. And he put together a posse that sought and then eventually took out Bonnie and Clyde. It's quite an epic story.
Yes, it is. And I've done a lot of reading and watching and just trying to get a good sense of that era. It's pretty significant how empowering it was that, he just went for it, and just took them out. Yeah,
my understanding is he learned their movements, tracked their past behaviors like a real, like an old school detective.
Yeah, like he pinned out all of the events and the occurrences that happened and saw that they kept coming home.
Yeah, it was interesting.
So that's where he started, was their home, and then began the trail and followed them.
And they followed a loop, as I understand it, a multi-state loop. And it was just, if you missed last week's show, just an incredible story of the amount. They just lived to be outlaws, and they knew they were going to cause damage, and they were going to steal, and they were going to do whatever they wanted. Stay tuned to learn more on The Gun Shop Show. Hey, Adam and Lauren. Thanks for jumping on here so we can make an ad for the show.
Yeah, absolutely. We're huge Second Amendment advocates and big supporters of Liberty Tree and the Gun Shop Show.
All right, so for the ad, we're going to want to go over what you offer.
We do all the standard auto, home insurance, life insurance.
We also do a lot of rental property, whether that be commercial rental or residential, duplexes, apartment complexes, single-family dwellings. And we have specialty policies for all your firearms.
You have commercial coverage on my rental properties, so we can put that in the ad too. And I was thinking that we'll talk about how you're big supporters of the store and how you come in the store pretty much every day on your lunch break and buy guns.
Maybe don't mention the everyday thing, because my wife does watch the show, but we've been known to come in occasionally.
Every once in a while.
All right, guys, I think that we have everything we need to make an ad, so once I get it done, I'll give you guys a holler to check it out. Trevor, don't put it in the ad, but those guys are in here literally every day on their lunch break.
Kids are curious by nature. Do your part to prevent unwanted tragedy from striking in your home by doing these simple tasks. Consider gun locks and/or gun safes for storage of firearms. Don't leave your guns unattended where children could reach them. Discuss with your children the rules of firearm safety. Sign your kids up for hunter safety classes. Firearm safety in the household is your responsibility. Do your part to prevent unwanted tragedy from striking in your home. For more information, visit JasperCountySheriff.org.
People are always asking me, Eli, you seem to get the best deals on things. What is your secret?
Glory actions and estate sales.
Trevor, I appreciate you jingling, but I have to say the ad part first because people need to know about the company.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to do that.
And then also, it's covering up my face. So
right.
just get a picture like from their Facebook page, because that's the best place, and then just put it right up here where the Gun Shop Show logo is. Okay.
Yeah. All right, I'll do better this
time. And so let me finish the ad, and then you can jingle. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the best place to go is their Facebook page.
Oh, glory actions and estate sales.
You know what? Fine. I'll just move in between the graphics and finish telling people that the best place to find out when
Old Glory actions and estate sales. I think I got it that time, man.
This just in. Huge cave found beneath the heart of the city. Spelunkers shared tales of an underground cavern system in Carthage, Missouri. Locals report the entrance to be at 10th and Garrison.
Cave Gang Pizza. Stop in and enjoy wings, wood-fire pizza made with local ingredients, and our full bar. Bring the whole gang and uncover a legend.
Welcome back to the Gun Shop Show. Today's show is titled The Hunt for Bonnie and Clyde, and we're going to tell the story of the men that chased down Bonnie and Clyde. And so I couldn't think of any better guest than a friend of the show, former lawman, and editor of American Handgunner magazine, Roy Huntington. Roy, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, you guys. I'm really looking forward to this. It's as a student of history and especially sort of law enforcement and Old West kind of stuff. Frank Hamer pretty much embodies all of that. And so I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, we're excited to have you. And just so you know, last time when you came on the show, we were on a meager one radio station. But today, we need to say hello to our new listeners on KSGF Springfield, and also you can wave hello to our television viewers on KODE 12 in Joplin.
Well, that's kind of cool. Hi, Mom.
So Frank Hamer and that whole era, what a hardcore time in American history.
Well, I think people need to remember that if people who were adults in, say, the 30s, most of them were all born in the 1800s. And so they're really products of an entirely different century. At the turn of the century, there were still gunfights in the Old West. There was Texas Rangers who were still working the prairie.
Right.
They still carried Colt single actions and wide gun belts. And, it was still the Old West. And so the guys like Hamer who were still involved in law enforcement kind of had that Old West town marshal, mentality still. It really was not the era of modern police work yet.
Right. I picked that up too from the research that I did, Roy. I mean, it kind of felt like they went from cowboys to and now they have cars and high-powered machine guns.
It was a real tough transition for a lot of those guys. And like the Tom 3-person's holster, and there was one or two other holsters, the Burl holster was actually made because citizens were complaining about these gunned up Texas Rangers walking around town with their cowboy boots, their pants stuffed in them, and wearing 6 guns and carrying rifles and stuff. So they made these holsters. Yeah, so they made these holsters so these guys would wear a coat and try to be more civilized. And they groused about it, and they said, we shouldn't have to worry about that. We're lawmen, and we're out here doing this. But it really was the pivotal point of law enforcement, going from the old days to the new days.
I think one thing that we've seen this pattern, and my law enforcement experience is a lot more recent, but unfortunately, this is the nature of anything, that a lot of times it's the bad guys find a new advantage, and then police have to learn that lesson the hard way and then adapt. And I think the only thing that makes Bonnie and Clyde the legendary story that they was their embrace of firepower. They were using military grade firepower when law enforcement wasn't used to dealing with criminals that were willing to immediately kill with extreme reckless abandon.
I think you're right. It was certainly all through my law enforcement career. I started in the middle 70s. To keep things into perspective, when I started, there were still people who came on the police department in the late 30s, and I actually worked with some of these guys. And they still had a lot of the old Frank Hamer old school kind of way of thinking. And they carried 6-inch Model 10s with 158 grain round nose, 38 ammo. And they talked about shooting at fleeing felons. And that's just what you did in those days.
Right.
But
and
you're
actually,
right. It's always been a race of technology.
You mentioned something that I wanted to bring up, and in fact wanted to dissect in the show, is we covered it in a little bit in the last show, the end of Bonnie and Clyde's trail, which was the ambush when Frank had finally tracked them down, and then they opened fire on the car. I don't remember the total number of rounds, but they just basically bullet riddled the car to make sure that they won. And my question is, how far of a departure is that from what would be considered a justified shooting in today's world?
It's a good question. It was certainly the accepted norm in those days. But remember, I think you almost have to look at Bonnie and Clyde the way we would look at an armed band of terrorists. And if a modern law enforcement SWAT team came upon a group of those guys known to be armed, known to be killers, and in a car, and a similar situation happened, and they opened up on them with everything that they had, I don't think anyone would say anything. You know,
That's
it's like,
true.
why'd you shoot them 300 times? So it's because that was all the ammo we had.
Exactly. And I think everyone knew it was. Bonnie even said it'll be us or them. And Bonnie and Clyde, at that point, we've seen several letters and messages back to family. Like, they knew they were going to die, but they were just going to see how many times they could live to fight another day. And I think Hamer and his posse knew that was their mentality, and they couldn't take any chances.
Well, according to the history, from what I have understood, is that Hamer was a lot of things, and he certainly wasn't perfect, but he did want to give them a chance, and that's why he stepped out in front. But as soon as there was no compliance, the instructions were open up, and of course everybody did. I mean, it's interesting. Bonnie, afterward, it was found Bonnie had a small Colt revolver taped to her thigh. And this was just a day they were out, they picked up their mail and doing it. And so these people were armed at every level. And I think you've probably seen the pictures of the guns that they took out of their car, BARs and O3s.
Yeah, we read the list on the last show, and I don't have it in front of me, but that wasn't the only guns they ever used in their history. That was what was in their car the day they died. Incredible.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I think one of the interesting things was there was an iconic gun in that, and that was Bonnie's 20 gauge Model 11, which was called a whippet in those days. And I think it was just because you could whip it out, from underneath the coat.
Yeah, we broke that down. Yeah, we won't talk about how that went down, but Trevor wore a bathrobe.
Yeah, there may or may not have been a pink
The only garment we had long enough to conceal a whippet gun was Trevor borrowed a pink bathrobe.
We'll assume it was borrowed. We'll call it borrowed.
Another thing that I want to get your take on, Roy, is I actually had a customer come in after our last episode on Bonnie and Clyde, and he told me, he almost scolded me because I went out of my way to say, hey, these people were not heroes. They were bad people. They've been romanticized a little bit because they were a couple and it was clear they were in love, but they were crappy people. But he looked at me and he said, Bonnie never hurt anybody. So shooting her up like that was wrong. And he was like, he loved the show, but he felt strongly about the fact that Bonnie basically didn't deserve the end that she got. So we're coming up on a break. As soon as we get back, I want to know if you know that to be true and your opinion on it on the Gun Shop Show. Hey everybody, Eli here, and I'm really excited to tell you that the Gun Shop Show is now brought to you by one of my favorite places on earth, located here in my hometown of Carthage on the beautiful historic square, and that is the Emporium on the square and the Woodshed. It's a art gallery, an event center, a gift shop. They have art classes, and probably my favorite part is the burger and steak joint in the back. But when you walk in, you're in this 150-year-old great big building, and there's very unique Americana artwork from famous artists like Andy Thomas. They handle a lot of his originals and do framing for him. And it just has this incredible old school vibe, and you can feel the history coming through. You have to check out the art gallery, but then as you work your way to the back, into my favorite part, that's the Woodshed. I've spent a lot of nights and had a lot of great meals in here. They've got burgers. They have catfish. I love their catfish. It's excellent. Chicken and waffles, even. It's incredible. And it's also a music venue. So this year or last year, we got to see my favorite band of all time, the Ben Miller Band. This is a photo that you're seeing that I took. And the ceiling was literally raining down. They were rocking so hard. But the best thing about it is not only is this my favorite place on earth, but it's owned by one of my favorite people on earth. That's Cherry Babcock. And she is the real deal. She takes care of her customers, whether they're hosting an event or catering or having a special art class or just their normal business of selling burgers and steaks. Check out the Emporium on the Square and the Woodshed. The Ruger Security 9 LTO, an exclusive new firearm only from Liberty Tree Guns. This is an affordable pistol that comes with Ruger's renowned reliability and workmanship, and comes with an optic with a 3-year warranty. If you haven't ever shot a pistol with an optic on it, it's a lot of fun and you can really acquire a target quickly. All right, Ruger Security 9 LTO unboxing. So it pretty much obviously comes with everything the Ruger Security 9 would already come with, and this is how they look in the box. Ruger started doing this insert in the box, which is kind of nice. We've had to modify it a little bit to make sure that your optic fits. So there's a cutout so the cover can go on and then the gun can fit right here in that. They come with 2 mags, so a lot of price point guns, you're just getting 1 mag, but you get 2 15-round, OEM mags. A couple little bonuses is the optic comes with the AR mounts. So if you want to pull this optic off and run it on an AR, you've got everything that you need. That's a freebie, just comes in the box. Once we pull this insert out, here's where all the goodies that come with the optic. Got a 3-year warranty on the Firefield optic, the user manual. It has the tools for both mounting the optic if you want to take it off, and also the adjustment screwdriver for the windage and elevation, and then all of the factory information for your pistol. So this is the format that those will come in. And again, guys, remember, this is an option if you are excited to try out an optic on a pistol and you want to do it for a price point. So these at this price are cheaper than some guys are paying for just an optic. You're getting the gun and the optic. You can get the price and all the details at libertytreeguns.com. Just search LTO. Welcome back on the Gun Shop Show. Today is the hunt for Bonnie and Clyde. And right before the break, I was talking to our guest, Roy Huntington, editor of American Handgunner magazine and historian, writer. And I was telling him a story about a customer and listener of the show that came in and sort of gave me a little bit of a talking to about the fact that Bonnie never hurt anybody. And so I want to know, she was obviously armed. We've seen her posed in pictures. You know, she's got a gun pointed at Clyde, you know, I'm sure just posing for the picture. But do you think she was really as innocent as that guy felt he felt strongly that she was?
You know, that's the problem with the uninformed, unwashed masses. And I don't mean that to be ugly, but it just as in their period, they were looked upon like do-gooders in the sense that they were taking money from the man, you know, who deserved to get the money taken. You have to remember that Bonnie supplied covering fire during some robberies.
Yeah.
Also, the two, I believe it was Oklahoma motorcycle cops who were killed. There was indication that they were shot with a 20 gauge shotgun. Well, you know, that was Bonnie's favorite gun, the little whippet.
Yep.
And Clyde tended to use center fire rifles, if at all possible. So in that situation, I think Bonnie probably took them down, and then Clyde probably contributed after Bonnie started it. But she was, and also think more modern and think that if you're a criminal and you're participating in any kind of a crime where someone's killed, well, then you're guilty of homicide too.
Right. Yeah.
You're
Certainly
assisting.
complicit.
One of the
And so it's not like I mean, it's not like she was a little, you know, blind waif who wasn't aware of what was happening around her.
Right.
You know, I think one of the things that I'm sure the newspapers that leaned in that contributed to that feeling is especially some of the more early photos of Bonnie. She looks like a normal and almost pretty young woman. She doesn't, until some of the later photos, she doesn't really look rough. Although she had to become rough because, one, there's several references to the fact that they didn't bathe often and they were stinky.
Yeah. Living in a car.
One of their car crashes resulted in battery acid eating into Bonnie's leg all the way down to the bone. So they became, like we've seen in law enforcement so much, they become to look like the villains that they were over time.
Well, they're like, they became street people basically, except, you know, those days before the internet and before a lot of things, the public was hungry for any kind of sensationalistic news. Look back to the American West dime novels. And the reason why guys like Wild Bill Hickok and Buffalo Bill and those people were so famous was because the dime novelists, Ned Buntline, people like that, they wrote them up and chatted them up and made them seem much more exciting and much more, you know, dramatic and noble, you know, than they really were.
Right.
And I think Bonnie and Clyde was the same way. You know, here in Joplin, we have that apartment, you know, that they stayed at.
Yeah, we went over to it and toured it. Yeah.
Cool. And I know there are some people who are really upset. Some family members of one of the law enforcement officers who were killed at the time, and they said that that's wrong. You know, that we shouldn't sort of honor Bonnie and Clyde by having that set up there. And I think they're missing the point there, and that it's a real part of history, and that no one's honoring them. But I know when I've been there, you probably felt the same thing. It's really sobering to actually see the bullet holes. And having fired a BAR, you guys may have fired a BAR before, any kind of large bore center fire rifle. I can't imagine what that sounded like when, you know, Clyde let loose with a BAR there on the residential street, you know. And so these were bad people, and they weren't afraid to kill people and shoot randomly in a neighborhood. So, you know, call me a lot of things, but I think they got what they deserved. So
yeah,
definitely,
I do too, and that was one of the things that we made a point to say is we certainly don't want to contribute to glorifying them. We're going to talk about the guns that they carried because it's a historical thing to know, and also I think it was their guns and their use of guns and the way that they did that made them a reason that we're still talking about them today. But one of the things that you mentioned that I thought was pretty funny is after they passed, some of Clyde's family and some of Bonnie's family separately kind of passed the buck. They weren't bad people. They were just hanging out with a bad crowd.
Right. Yeah, it was all the people around them.
I was telling Trevor, you know, at various times we would go to arrest some real dirtbag, honestly. We'd been following, we'd seen their messages, we'd heard and witnessed some really bad things that they'd done, and yet their family would say, you know, they're a good person. They just got wrapped up with the wrong crowd. And almost always you were like, No, they're the bad one, and all the
Right.
people hanging out with them are wrapped up with that crowd. But it's funny because whatever it is in human nature that breeds a criminal, that breeds someone that has no regard for other human beings, apparently hasn't changed a lot since the 1930s.
What hasn't changed a lot, period. And I think of all the people, Frank Hamer understood that. In his early career on the Texas Rangers, he actually killed a guy with a Winchester Model 94. He was a bad guy in this town, and that he was pretty new. Hamer was new. He was set up in the backyard on this 2-story house. This guy had been shooting. He saw the guy come to the window. Hamer shot him down like a dog. Is what he said. And afterwards, when someone asked him, "Did you feel any remorse? Did you?" Because if you read the newspapers of the era, they really do the same thing that newspapers do nowadays. Cops, police slay, youth,
Right.
rather than shoot out with a gang member, right? And so they asked him, "Well, gee, didn't you feel anything? Did you feel remorse or anything?" And he just said, "No." It was, well, what are you even talking about? He was a bad man trying to kill people. I killed him. So it's kind of like putting down a feral dog. And I think he looked upon the Bonnie and Clyde thing. I would wager that after the shootout, his heart wasn't beating fast. And what I mean, maybe not literally, but I think he looked upon them as two feral animals that had to be put down, and he tried to do it in the most efficient manner that he could.
Yeah,
and then he went on with the rest of it. Yeah.
Something that I learned about Frank Hamer was that Bonnie haunted him after the fact, and the sounds that she made at that ambush was really difficult for him. I mean, he didn't want to do that to a woman. It was difficult for him, even though she was a wanted criminal.
I think that's one thing that makes it interesting is the only hesitations that the posse ever mentioned was the fact that she was a woman. And honestly, the fact that there was a woman involved in their spree is kind of what made them notable.
Right. Yeah. And I think it was people would hesitate, or authorities would hesitate to fire upon them because there was a lady present, which would give Clyde the leverage to get away or start firing first. Like, it gave him an advantage to have a lady present.
I read that Hamer. Sorry, go ahead, Roy. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say again, they're men who are a product of the period at the time. A lady was a lady, and ladies only did ladylike things, and so. But I think I'm familiar with what you're saying, because according to the witnesses there, and who knows with all the gunfire, they said that Bonnie was screeching like a wild cat.
Yeah.
As they were shooting and stuff, which is, I mean, I could see that happening.
Right.
She's angry. She's in pain. She, who knows what was going on. I saw the car in person. It was at the, at the
Las Vegas casino.
Exactly. Yeah. And I can't remember the name of it. It's there. I think it's still there just before you go into Las Vegas, up in the hill. And I have to say, it was really interesting. This was definitely the authentic car. They had made some copies through the years, but this was authenticated many times, matching up bullet holes with original photos and things like that. And I have to say, it was really sobering to stand there while everyone else was kind of coming up and saying, "Hey, look, that's really neat," and then they wander off and go get a hamburger. I think I was there about an hour and a half. I mean, I really looked at everything. Yeah, so we'll have to talk about an era. More.
Yeah, we'll come back from the break on the Gun Shop Show. Hey folks, I had to learn the hard way that a good home inspection makes a difference when you're buying a home. Our new sponsor, All Points Inspections, can provide just that. Here's a message from Corey from All Points Inspections.
Hey guys, Corey Hines here, owner of All Points Inspections. Up on a roof right now, currently doing a roof inspection, checking for leaks. But I am excited to announce that I am a new sponsor with the Gun Shop Show. Those guys are awesome over there. It's been kind of a Saturday morning routine for me now to join in on the conversations. Just a bunch of good group of guys all around, followers, watchers. Check them out. If If you guys need home inspections, give me a call, 417-439-9229. Thank you.
Land is everything to me. When I was born, I was brought home to the family farm, was raised, learned work ethic there, learned appreciation and respect for life and the land itself, and it just became second nature. I had to be there all the time. Whenever I wasn't on the land, I was not happy. But I learned to understand the land, learned to respect it, learned family values. My wife and I have bought a farm besides the one we live on, and it has just been it's been a great investment, and it's been someplace that my son and I have shared the passion of hunting together, and it's just land has been everything in my life. It has kind of kept me focused and gave me a place to be. It's kind of kept me grounded.
Someday they'll go down together, and they'll bury them side by side. To a few, it'll be grief, to the law, a relief, but it's death for Bonnie and Clyde. That's a poem that Bonnie wrote to her mother just within a short time before she died. She knew that's how they were going to go out, and the men that found them and took them out knew it was likely to end the way it did. So what kind of a man does it take to produce the results that ended Bonnie and Clyde's reign of terror? That's what we're talking about on today's episode, The Hunt for Bonnie and Clyde, and we're joined by Roy Huntington of American Handgunner magazine. Roy, what kind of man was Frank Hamer?
I think what we need to do first is look at the origins of Frank Hamer and his peers. And so if you picture the Gunsmoke era, 1880 or so, and 1885, 1890, and picture the sort of lone cowboy on a western saddled horse with a Winchester, wearing a wide cartridge belt with a gun high on his hip, probably in a Mexican loop holster, with a big Stetson and a rope and that steely-eyed look. It
reminds me a lot of the characters that we broke down that John Wayne played. A big man, grizzled, and what made his characters and made him so famous was he was believable as that character, and that's kind of what I gather that we would see fictionalized in John Wayne was Frank Hamer.
Exactly. Frank was actually the real deal. And he wasn't a perfect man by any degree. And, he was been known to take a drink and stuff like that. But he was, if you had the dictionary and you looked at hard case, that was him. I mean, he was evidently a real gentleman. He was a good host if you came to his house and that kind of stuff, but he would not tolerate the fool. And if he had a job, the old one riot, one ranger, well, they literally did that. I mean, he literally responded to those kind of things. And they burned a courthouse down around him, basically, as he was protecting a black man that they had as a prisoner from the town. And so he really was that. And so in his mind, I don't want to say that he was simple, but he thought of things, I think, more simply. And that is that if you're a bad guy, then we need to get you. And if part of getting you is to kill you, then that's what we had to do. And so he was certainly a man of his word, too, because when the governor of Texas, and her name escapes me right now, was basically trying to use the Texas Rangers as a pawn, or as a tool for her own political maneuverings, he resigned. So he was a man of scruples, basically.
And that's what I was going to say is really funny because his story started, we always make the joke at like all the 80s and 90s movies was there's a bad villain we got to go get. and then they go get some grizzled guy who's out of the game. I'm out of the game. I'm retired. You can't. And then they explain the gravity and how like he's the only man for the job, and then he's back in, and then he goes on the hunt, and that's literally what happened with Frank. He was retired from the Rangers, and I don't know who, singled him out as the man for the job, but someone did, and that's how he began to hunt Bonnie and Clyde.
Yes, and it was a back door through Texas, and as a matter of fact, the same governor is the one that ultimately said, it was my idea to send to loan Hamer to go do this, and that's why he went to eventually do this. It was interesting that he actually during the hunt he actually spent his own money on everything, and he really
lived out of his car.
Pretty much, and he was really hard pressed to get reimbursed for it. Unlike something that would have happened nowadays, he really didn't get wealthy or anything from that. He did enjoy rubbing shoulders with Tom Mix and some of the Cowboy stars, and he was in Hollywood, acted a little bit as a advisor there,
Yeah.
And, but his son said that it was the only thing that was kind of that I actually liked in the movie, although I didn't really agree with the way it was shown when Costner got out of their car to chase after the little boy who was delivering the messages, and he took the nickel-plated single action and he tucked it in the small of his back before he ran after this kid. Well, according to Hamer's son, he said his dad wouldn't go from one side of the dining room table to the other without that gun tucked in his belt, but he carried it in the front, kind of an appendix carry. So that was the only thing
his exception. That's hilarious. So I had a point and I lost it.
The governor that you were speaking of was Governor Miriam Ferguson.
Oh, I remember what it was.
Yeah.
I wanted to point out that there was a bounty on Bonnie and Clyde, 2 different ones. It was somebody put out a $1,000 bounty for the couple, and then there was a separate one put out $500 apiece. But Frank never was rewarded.
No,
the bounty. He did exactly what he was tasked to do. Chased them down, followed them for months, got the intel, found them, took them out, and they didn't make good on that bounty.
Well, I was just reading that because of that, he was able to, or the posse was able to take things from the scene, and I think if I remember correctly, like he took the guns.
Yeah,
that's right.
From the scene.
That was actually really common in those days, and that whoever made the arrest confiscated, what was there like that, and then they were able to just sell it or do whatever they want.
Yeah,
but certainly different times for sure. When you look at the car, if you look at the windshield, you'll see a couple of distinct groups in the windshield, and those were actually fired by Frank with his Remington Model 8 rifle, and that. According to what he said was he shot his rifle and then stopped and basically went to the side of the road and started to light a cigarette as the guys were finished shooting up the car, because he shot, and then as the car started to roll forward is what he just basically got out of the way, and then they said that he just sat down, lit up a cigarette and started to smoke.
He knew the job was going to be done. Let's talk about that Remington Model 8, because there's a little bit of debate there. It would have been probably chambered in .35 Remington, but there were some Model 8s that were adapted for law enforcement with a detachable magazine, and the debate is whether or not that's what he had or if he had a regular Model 8. Do you know for sure?
From what I could tell, see, his personal rifle was I believe it was a 25-20, and it did have an extended magazine, and it was my impression that's what he used in that shooting. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it in this light, but I have
that's a beautiful
here. Yeah, it's kind of a nice one. It doesn't have the extended magazine on it, and this particular one is .35 Remington, and actually just shot it the other day just to sort of warm my blood up a little bit for what we're going to do today. And I can really see why they're effective, though, because they're reliable, they're powerful, they're accurate, And they actually could do the same job today. I mean, if I was going on patrol tomorrow and they said, "Hey, you have to have this 35 Remington with a 20-round magazine," I'd say, "Okay."
Yeah, I don't feel
Yes.
undergunned with that. And when would that have come into production? I mean, that was a long time ago.
1908. Yeah, it was it was their first semi-automatic rifle, and
We
Frank
debate
had his long before the Bonnie and Clyde thing.
Yeah, and we debate semi-autos and high-capacity magazines like there's something that came strolling along lately. But you're holding an example there that is.
Let me hold another one. Here's a 351, a Model 7, and this is very similar. This is Winchester's version of a sort of cop rifle. They also made extended magazines, but I think I wrote an article one time, and I had these two rifles, and I put them up next to an M1A and an AR-15 or something, and I leaned them on my Packard grill that I had at the time, and I said that these two original rifles would perform every bit the same job that these more modern rifles would. And so I think we forget that. We think Hamer killed the bad guy with a Model 94, and you think, well, that's quaint, except it's a 150 grain bullet at 2,400 feet per second, which is basically similar to what an AK-47 round is, And so these guys were well armed, and most of them knew how to shoot.
And a lot of advancement was happening in this time. If you think, we're not that far separated from the Civil War era, from just getting lever action guns, which had only been really the predominant thing for a few decades, and now we're talking about things like a Browning BAR, like the Remington Model 8, a lot of firepower as fast as you can squeeze the trigger, but that was like new for that era.
Pretty much. I think if we put something into perspective, this dawned on me the other day. Today, we're as far from the 1980s as the 1980s were from the 1940s. Well, I was alive in the 1980s, and I had been a policeman for 10 years, and the 1940s seemed like ancient time.
That's true. So we're coming up on another break. Roy, do you have time for one more segment?
Sure.
Okay, we'll do one more with you. Appreciate your time. We'll be right back on the Gun Shop Show. Hey, you know what makes this, the Gun Shop Show, possible? It's people who believe in the show. And someone who has believed in the show from the very beginning is my good friend Chris Chapman, owner of Whitehead Farm Supply. Here's a message from Chris.
Guys, my name's Chris Chapman, owner of Whitehead Farm Supply, and I just want to take a few seconds here to let you know that we are going to be proud sponsors of the Gun Shop Show, and we appreciate everything that them guys are doing over there, and we just want to show them our support. Thank you.
So whether you have 2 chickens or 2,000 acres, Chris is your man. Give him a call. I guess that's pretty much the ad.
Whitehead Farm Supply.
Seriously?
Always.
People are always asking me, Eli, you seem to get the best deals on things. What is your secret?
Glory Actions and estate sales.
Trevor, I appreciate you jingling, but I have to say the ad part first because people need to know about the company.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to do that.
And then also, it's it's covering up my face. So
right.
just get a picture like from their Facebook page because that's the best place, and then just put it right up here where the Gun Shop Show logo is. Okay.
Yeah. All right, I'll do better this
time.
Then
and so let me finish the ad, and then you can jingle. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the best place to go is their Facebook page.
Oh, Glory Actions and estate sales.
You know what? Fine. I'll just move in between the graphics and finish telling people that the best place to find out when
Old Glory Actions and estate sales. I think I got it that time, man.
Kids are curious by nature. Do your part to prevent unwanted tragedy from striking in your home by doing these simple tasks. Consider gun locks and/or gun safes for storage of firearms. Don't leave your guns unattended where children could reach them. Discuss with your children the rules of firearm safety. Sign your kids up for hunter safety classes. Firearm safety in the household is your responsibility. Do your part to prevent unwanted tragedy from striking in your home. For more information, visit jaspercountysheriff.org.
Hey everybody, Eli here, and I'm really excited to tell you that the Gun Shop Show is now brought to you by one of my favorite places on earth, located here in my hometown of Carthage on the beautiful historic square, and that is the Emporium on the square and the Woodshed. It's a art gallery, an event center, a gift shop. They have art classes, and probably my favorite part is the burger and steak joint in the back. But when you walk in, you're in this 150-year-old great big building, and there's very unique Americana artwork from famous artists like Andy Thomas. They handle a lot of his originals and do framing for him, and it just has this incredible old school vibe, and you can feel the history coming through. You have to check out the art gallery, but then as you work your way to the back, into my favorite part, that's the Woodshed. I've spent a lot of nights and had a lot of great meals in here. They've got burgers. They have catfish. I love their catfish. It's excellent. Chicken and waffles even. It's incredible. And it's also a music venue. So this year or last year, we got to see my favorite band of all time, the Ben Miller Band. This is a photo that you're seeing that I took. And the ceiling was literally raining down. They were rocking so hard. But the best thing about it is not only is this my favorite place on earth, but it's owned by one of my favorite people on earth. That's Cherry Babcock. And she is the real deal. She takes care of her customers while they're hosting an event or catering or having a special art class or just their normal business of selling burgers and steaks. Check out the Emporium on the Square and the Woodshed.
This just in. Huge cave found beneath the heart of the city. Spelunkers shared tales of an underground cavern system in Carthage, Missouri. Locals report the entrance to be at 10th and Garrison.
Cave Gang Pizza. Stop in and enjoy wings, wood-fire pizza made with local ingredients, and our full bar. Bring the whole gang and uncover a legend.
Hey man, we got to do this About Anywhere porta potty commercial.
I kind of have my hands full.
I didn't want to bother you, but we really got to get it done.
You know this is where I go to do my special project. I'm almost done. Hang on. I'm done. The Gun Shop Show is brought to you by About Anywhere Porta Potties.
They'll take you anywhere.
You can take a beep anywhere.
The Gun Shop Show, the Gun Shop Show. What is it? We don't know. The Gun Shop Show, the Gun Shop Show. Here we go, it's the Gun Shop Show.
Welcome back. We are now into hour number 2 of the Gun Shop Show, which is the only radio and TV program that comes to you from the sales floor of an actual working gun shop. In fact, what I believe to be the best gun shop in the world. And we're talking with our guest, Roy Huntington, editor of American Handgunner magazine, breaking down some of the guns that were used to take out Bonnie and Clyde, and you have a few right there with you, some of the style that was used.
I did. You know, it's hard to write about history unless you have some history. And I think maybe it's one of the things that's a little bit wrong with today's sort of gun media is a lot of people will jump on YouTube and watch a couple of videos or go and jump and read some blog posts and then download some stock pictures from somewhere and then write a gun article. And to me, that's a lot different than if you actually get the gun and take it in somewhere and load it and shoot it and feel it and smell it. And then you know what Frank Hamer was thinking as he stood in front of Bonnie and Clyde's Ford and shot through their windshield at him.
Absolutely. When we stood in the Bonnie and Clyde hideout apartment in Joplin, there's some damage in the wood floor that's right next to a chair. And we don't know. Maybe that floor got damaged after it was Bonnie and Clyde's hideout. But it looked a lot like someone was playing Mumbly Peg, which I couldn't think of in the last show.
Oh, yeah.
I had a listener. I said it was common for them to drop their knife and stick it in the floor, and because I couldn't think of it, I skipped right over it. But we had a listener jump right in. That's called Mumbly Peg, where you sit in the chair and you drop your knife. And as I put my hand on the chips and the damage to the floor, I don't know for sure that it was Clyde that sat there and did that while he was worried that they were coming to hunt from him, but I could believe it could have been. And that sentiment, had I not stood there and looked, and there's a spot on the floor that looks like maybe someone carved a C into it, I think the kind of guy that wouldn't have cared that he was damaging a rental house would have been the same kind of guy that didn't care about everything else that he did and the people that he hurt. And you felt it, and you can imagine being there when you're right there with history in your hands, where you can touch and feel it.
You know, if you put your hands on the bullet holes outside there, it's a real similar thing. You kind of like can experience that. You know, you may not know this. Do you know why they call it Mumbly Peg? Because I actually used to play that when I was a little kid in the 50s.
I don't know. You're going to have to educate me.
Yeah. Well, and you didn't just drop the knife. It was quite a complicated game, and the boys would get together in a circle, and we all had pocket knives, and then you had to like flip it and do different tricks with it, and it always had to stick. And then whoever lost, the winner who did the trick successfully, and then the other guy tried to do it, and he didn't do it, could pick a peg, and so you would just get a little stick or something, and then you pounded it into the dirt, and whoever the loser was had to pull it out with his teeth. And
I
so
had no idea.
if you were nice, then you'd like leave enough sticking up that you could, just kind of get it. But it seems like I played with the Frank Hamer hard case crowd, because we'd always push it in the dirt and pound it in,
And I guess it was mumbly. Yeah, it was mumbly because now you got a stick in your teeth, and you got when you talk with a stick in your teeth, you sound like this.
Yep.
Wow, I had no idea.
But
so
it is
there
interesting.
You go.
I mean, we're talking, 6-year-old kids, and we all had pocket knives. I mean, we didn't get in too much trouble with them, but I suppose a little bit. I bet you Frank Hamer had a pocket knife when he was 6 years old.
Yeah, generations have changed, and my wife pretty much is the same mindset of me. But every now and then, I let my kids loose with a little more than she's comfortable with, because I believe we've got to cut our teeth on the world a little bit. We don't want to let ourselves get too soft.
Yeah.
It's true. Hey, before we leave the Bonnie and Clyde house, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but if you go to the police area station there, which I think is still there, just around the corner from it, they actually have a display there, and it's the original handwritten and typed police report outlining the incident. And there's also empty cartridge cases there and some other things that were collected at the scene. And so to me, what was amazing is you could stand there, and right there in front of you are empty cartridge cases from Clyde Barrow's BAR. And
yeah, I was stationed.
sobering.
I was stationed or set up at that substation during the Joplin tornado. So here's this history in the 1930s of an epic event that happened with Bonnie Clyde, and then here I am as a nobody, but in the middle of a piece of history, standing, waiting for orders of how to help save people in the aftermath of the Joplin tornado, and looking over at this display of Bonnie and Clyde. So history just proves that time marches on and makes a stamp all the time on the future generations.
Well, of course, and living through it, and we were here when the tornado hits too, but is definitely better, or not better, is definitely more authentic than just reading about it somewhere. So
Absolutely.
and I think that's why listening to a show like this about that kind of historical stuff and shooting the guns that Hamer used and the bad guys used, I think you guys have access to a Thompson, as I recall. So
Yeah.
you've shot that. I've seen it in your videos and stuff. And it's like, oh, that's what it was like. You don't really spray with it. You kind of shoot it. It's not like in the movies. I think that's mostly it's not like in the movies, just about any of this stuff.
And you wouldn't know that until you hold it.
Yeah, and somebody said, talking about a guy like Frank Hamer, is that I can't remember what the saying is, but it's basically like the rest of us can sleep safely at night because there are hard men who are out there at nighttime, willing to protect us. And
yeah,
I think
the saying says something about willing to do violence on your behalf. And
yeah, basically,
that's the quote. And
Frank was that guy.
Yeah, he might not have been everything. He might not have been the guy you wanted as a babysitter, or he might not have been the host of the local charity event and the most charismatic guy, but he was the guy you wanted on the hunt. Now, I'm afraid we're going to run out of time, Roy, and so I want you to tell us what you've been working on with the magazines that you do such great work for.
Well, I appreciate it, and I won't bore the listeners too long here, but there's a couple of things that may interest some of your customers. We're just completing a Old West special edition, and it's full of history, and it's full of cool guns. There's a nice feature, actually, that I found really entertaining to write, which was a before and after series of photos by Doug Turnbull. And so it outlines the just, rusted hulk of guns that the Turnbull Restoration gets in, and then the after they're done restoring them photos. And it's astounding to see that. There's a lot of history. There's guns of the Indians and the machine guns in the Old West and stuff like that. So that'll be out in about 6 or 8 weeks. If you go to fmgpublications.com, you can learn about it. We also finished a DIY guns special edition, which is it's kind of a how-to book, and it's full of tips and tricks for gunsmithing and home projects and how to assemble a black powder rifle and, how to install sights and customizing a 1911, all the kinds of things that we gun people always like to read about. And there's some complicated things in there, and then there's some more basic things. And so DIY.
Our listeners and our customers here at Liberty Tree Guns, because we sell a lot of used guns, they're going to eat that up. In fact, when we get, every now and then when we buy 20 guns or 40 guns from somebody, there's one or two that are like a little bit broken, the stock's cracked or there's a part missing, and we have to put sold as is, and they're out there for $60 or something on the shelf. You would have thought that we had the holy grail of fine. Like, guys will sit out here and fight over getting that $60 gun because they want to do something like pick up your DIY gunsmithing edition and learn how to make that their own thing and improve on it.
I even considered it. $60.
Even you can do it.
Right?
Well, I should send you one of the DIY gun things. Well, I find that especially if you're a seasoned shooter, you own all the guns you want, you have all the ammo, you've been reloading, you've done all these kind of things, but you still like guns, you still like to mess with them. And that's when I see people really start to want to learn how do I fix my own gun? How do I put sights on it? And something like this is our second edition. So if you go to fmgpublications.com, you can see the prior editions. And actually also we put the current one, DIY Guns, is on Amazon.com. And you can get it as a print on demand, which just amazes me. You can go and buy one copy and they'll actually print it and mail it to you.
Wow,
I didn't believe it.
Impressive.
Yeah, so I did it myself for real, and it actually works.
We'll put a link to that one in the live stream comments so that people can get that one, and then they can look forward to the one that's about to be released. You also have a podcast. Let's mention that real quick.
Well, go to gunsmagazine.com if you're really bored. And it's a lot like what we're doing here. Brent Wheat, who's the editor of Guns, Tom McHale, who's taking over for me at Handgunner soon, and I just get together and do this. We talk about topics and we laugh and make fun of each other and poke fingers at things. And just have a good time. But we always try to talk about something that's important. What is stopping power? What are the range rules? How to use a laser? What caliber is best? So there you go. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk a little bit about that.
Thank you, Roy. It's been a pleasure having you. Stay tuned. We're going to be checking the voicemail when we get back and talking about the hunt for Bonnie and Clyde. Hey, podcast listeners and live stream viewers. I wanted to let you know that the Gun Shop Show is made possible by our friends at Mid-America RV. Being in the customer service industry, I have a really high standard for how customers are treated. Mid-America RV does it right. I've got my RV through their dealership, and I've taken it all over the country. We made it to South Padre Island. We've gone to Colorado several times. And if you've ever owned an RV, you know there's a lot that comes with it. So who you get it from matters, and it's extremely important that you have support after the sale. And here's some photos of my trips to Colorado that we took in our RV from Mid-America RV. They're located just outside of Carthage. They have a really vast inventory, and they are home of the lifetime RV warranty. So I believe they call it a forever warranty. So I urge you, if you're in the market for one, to check them out. It's a really fun and can be very affordable way to get your trips in. So visit them at midamericarv.com. We appreciate their support of the Gun Shop Show. And as you can see, they have a large inventory selection of trailers and fifth wheels, and they specialize in those. They don't carry any motorhomes or anything like that. So if you are in the market for a tow-behind RV of any size, from a little teardrop to a full-size trailer, I urge you to check out Mid-America RV. Now, we weren't sent any promotional material, so we decided, and this is from genuinely from my personal experience. There's a trip of me in Colorado in my Surveyor that I got from Mid-America RV. And so we decided we would make our own commercial for these guys since we believe in them so much. So, Trevor, I assume that you are prepared with material, right?
I'm going to jingle on the spot.
That you didn't make one ahead of time.
I didn't. No, I didn't.
All right.
And I'm actually a little nervous right now.
Can you put it on the lot?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. Let's hear it.
Let's refresh. And here we go.
They may not appreciate this.
Mid-America RV, the San Francisco treat.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm not so hot at the making up of stuff, so I borrow from other people.
Okay. Well, the point is, Mid-America RV will treat you right. If you're in the market for a travel trailer or fifth wheel, check out Mid-America RV. Welcome back on the Gun Shop Show. I'm your host, Eli Bruton, and if you have enjoyed this show so far, then stick with us because we have a lot more great show coming up. But I need to ask a quick favor. Take a second and share the live stream. You can do that without leaving the stream itself. You won't miss anything. Just click share. Share that on your own timeline. Also, if you're interested in learning some more behind the scenes and even contributing to the show, you can do that by joining our Facebook group. Just search The Gun Shop Show on Facebook and join there. I think I know what that sound means.
I think I'm starting to figure it out myself.
I've heard that before.
Yeah?
I think it means...
time to check the Pony Express?
Nope.
The voicemail.
It's time to check the voicemail.
Woo!
Just got to get the voicemail phone out. If you give me just a second to do that.
Yeah, it's probably pretty heavy. I don't know. I mean, it's been a while. I mean, I don't even know that we emptied it last time, right? I mean, it's probably, oh my, yeah. Oh, yikes. Take it easy there, man. That's a relic.
There's some
it's an antiquity.
voicemails left over from.
Yeah. From the last time, I think we had several in there. Hopefully we'll be able to update out this time, so next week it won't be such a burden on you.
Yeah, I just have to remember to. It's lift with your back, not with your legs.
That's right. Yeah, lift with your back. You need to put more back into it. Sounds like a rap song. Put your back into it.
Baby got back.
Yeah. Does that make?
Don't you worry.
Does that make you baby?
I can lift this
Hey,
phone.
if you're baby, then someone needs to get you out of that corner because someone put you in it.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
That's what I hear. Are you ready, dude? Are you ready to rock?
Well, I'm trusting that you got the intro done and we won't have to do it manually this time.
As usual, I'm your guy.
So you did.
I'm gonna let you down.
Oh. Okay. So we're gonna have to do this live again?
Yeah, man. I think we should. We should keep it fresh.
What-
Just embellish every once in a while. Be like Pink Floyd.
What do I usually do on this? Am I keyboards?
Not anymore. Yeah, you're no longer the keyboardist.
Oh,
you are
it's
now,
acapella. We do acapella.
Yeah, it's acapella with a guitar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, I do have a guitar here.
Get your guitar out, Riff Master.
I do have a guitar right here.
Yeah, you
Right
do.
here.
ZZ Guitar. That's what it's called, right? ZZ Guitar?
ZZ Top.
ZZ
Gun.
Top Tar? Oh, Top
Yeah.
Guitar?
See, that's the kind of thing that you get to do when you join the Gun Shop Show group on Facebook.
That's right.
Do stuff like name my guitar.
Yeah, that was
ZZ
named by a
Top
fan.
Gun. Yeah.
Yep.
And we almost got a core belt. Core belt.
Oh, scratch shot.
Yep.
Are you ready to do this thing,
I'm
man?
ready.
All
I think
right.
if you give me a count in, I can get this done. I
Okay.
think.
Well, here we go.
All right.
It's a 1, a 2, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4.
Are you ready to check the voicemail?
Woo! Man, that was rough, dude. Are you okay?
That was a lot of shredding.
Oh, it was, man. I can't help but see that your hair's wet there.
Yeah, I've worked up a sweat.
Yeah,
doing that.
I'd say so. But hey, you know what? Bonus, super sweet, good look, new look for you there.
Thank you. I just had to. I didn't remember the song, so I had to.
That's why you were
improvise,
sweating so much?
And then I broke a string,
Yep.
and then I was
Yep.
having to adapt. So then I broke a second string.
Right.
And then after that, I was trying to adjust, and I hit the whammy bar, and
Yeah,
I broke
the
another
whammy.
string.
Yeah, that happens
and
in the
then,
third bar.
And then and then I was pretty much just slapping the bass.
Yeah.
Because that's all that was left.
Right.
And then I broke another string.
Right.
And then the last thing that happened was I
You sweated
broke a string.
in a very specific place
I
on your
broke 5
forehead.
strings.
Yeah. Well, I broke 6 vocal cords on that one.
6. That's all
Good
the
thing,
chords, right?
Good thing I got several packs of Fender brand vocal cords.
Yeah, you got E, A, D, G, B.
All the hits.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
all the numbers.
All right.
Well, let's hit that first V mail.
Yeah, let me access the. Okay. All right. And folks that want to leave us voicemail can do that, but they have to call.
They have to call a special number.
Yeah, we have a special number for that.
We don't have a sweet camera on our phone right now, but we can get it anyway. It's 208-918-1776. Hey, we can do better next time, guys.
Yeah, we can do better.
All right.
But I have now accessed the voicemail.
Been accessed.
And so I'm ready whenever you are.
Here we go.
Hi, this is Alan from Las Vegas, Nevada. I keep hearing about red flag laws when it comes to guns, but I'm not really sure what that is. What is a red flag law?
All right.
Yeah, what's a red flag law?
Thank you,
Tell
Alan,
us
for
about that.
calling.
Is that like when you buy a gun, you wave your red flag to let everyone know you bought one?
Kind of like a finish flag, like a checker flag?
Exactly, but
Yeah.
it's red
No.
because guns.
Oh.
No, actually, a red flag law is something that gun owners should actually be concerned about.
Right.
Red flag law is kind of a general term thrown out there, but there are gun control advocates who advocate that we should be able to take guns away from people quote unquote, before something bad happens, right? So the problem is it undermines our due process.
Right.
And we had a customer in our store who had this happen. Someone filed an order of protection against him. Turned out that the gal he was dating just it was kind of a jealousy thing. She filed an order of protection, and the ATF actually showed up and wanted to have a conversation and potentially take guns from the customer.
Wow, that's scary.
He started getting denied whenever he did background checks. So what I want to do is I want to bring in an expert on this topic. So we're bringing in Vic Young from our sponsor, U.S. Law Shield, to talk about what are red flag laws and what does that mean to you. Vic, are you on the line?
I am.
Were you here when we were getting the voicemail open? I hope not.
Oh my gosh, guys, I'm telling you, been like 1992, I saw Guns N' Roses, most epic concert I've ever been to in my life, and I think you guys have topped it. Some of the most amazing shredding I've ever seen.
Wow. Thank you, Victor. I mean, I always felt like I had it in me better than James Hetfield did.
And I think that...
and Slash.
Everything, and that made it all right into the feed, so everybody got to see the same thing that Vic saw.
It's now on record. We are better than Metallica and the other one, Guns N' Roses. That's it. It slipped my mind for a second.
Well, thank you for the compliment,
quite amazing,
Vic.
quite amazing.
Yes, thank you.
But first, we need to, for Alan's sake, we need to answer what is a red flag law and why should we be concerned with them?
Well, red flag laws are kind of unique in that they've actually been around for about 20 years. Connecticut started it, but after the Parkland Hills incident in Florida, several other states have enacted similar laws. Currently, there are 19 states and Washington, D.C., so 20 areas that have what are categorized as red flag laws. Sometimes they're called firearms, restraining orders, risk protection orders, extreme risk protection orders. But they all essentially have the same meaning.
Okay, Vic, we're coming up on a break. I'm going to have to stop you, but we're going to just bridge over this gap. We'll break it down right here on the Gun Shop Show. The Gun Shop Show costs money to make, and the Gun Shop Show is brought to you by pecans and cheese. Not really. Actually, we didn't have any sponsors for this segment. And so I decided that I would take a snack break. And also, I decided if you guys are tired of listening to me eat cheese and nuts, that you need to buy an ad. So from now on, if our ad sponsorships don't sell out, you're going to have to listen to me eat nuts and cheese. In order to sponsor the Gun Shop Show, send us an email at thegunshopshow@gmail.com.
Next week, chips.
The Ruger Security 9 LTO, an exclusive new firearm only from Liberty Tree Guns. This is an affordable pistol that comes with Ruger's renowned reliability and workmanship, and comes with an optic with a 3-year warranty. If you haven't ever shot a pistol with an optic on it, it's a lot of fun and you can really acquire a target quickly. All right, Ruger Security 9 LTO unboxing. So it pretty much obviously comes with everything the Ruger Security 9 would already come with, and this is how they look in the box. Ruger started doing this insert in the box, which is kind of nice. We've had to modify it a little bit to make sure that your optic fits. So there's a cutout so the cover can go on and then the gun can fit right here in that. They come with 2 mags, so a lot of price point guns, you're just getting 1 mag, but you get 2 15 round OEM mags. A couple little bonuses is the optic comes with the AR mounts. So if you want to pull this optic off and run it on an AR, you've got everything that you need. That's a freebie, just comes in the box. Once we pull this insert out, here's where all the goodies that come with the optic. Got a 3-year warranty on the Firefield optic, the user manual. It has the tools for both mounting the optic if you want to take it off, and also the adjustment screwdriver for the windage and elevation, and then all of the factory information for your pistol. So this is the format that those will come in. And again, guys, remember, this is an option if you are excited to try out an optic on a pistol and you want to do it for a price point. So these at this price are cheaper than some guys are paying for just an optic. You're getting the gun and the optic. You can get the price and all the details at libertytreeguns.com. Just search LTO. Hey folks, I had to learn the hard way that a good home inspection makes a difference when you're buying a home. Our new sponsor, All Points Inspections, can provide just that. Here's a message from Corey from All Points Inspections.
Hey guys, Corey Hines here, owner of All Points Inspections. Up on a roof right now, currently doing a roof inspection, checking for leaks. But I am excited to announce that I am a new sponsor with the Gun Shop Show. Those guys are awesome over there. It's been kind of a Saturday morning routine for me now to join in on the conversations. Just a bunch of good group of guys all around, followers, watchers. Check them out. If you guys need home inspections, give me a call, 417-439-9229. Thank you.
Welcome back on the Gun Shop Show. One of the things that we do almost every show is we check our voicemail. And a lot of it just has to do with the fact that we don't have time during the week because we're busy selling guns.
Mm-hmm.
And we're selling them not just a little bit. It's more like this. That's hand over fist.
Oh, I was a little curious what that meant, but now I'm with you.
Yeah, that's how much we're selling guns. And so sometimes we have to just take care of some housekeeping and check the voicemail on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
And we have our proprietary voicemail phone, which you can leave your own message in there.
Right.
And you do that by calling
208-918-1776.
That's how you call the number. And on the line, we have our expert, Victor Young. He was breaking down that several states have red flag laws and what they are and why they matter to you. Vic, thanks for being on, and continue with your thoughts there on where some of those laws are in place and what they mean for gun owners.
Of course, my pleasure. Your caller was from Nevada, and they do have a red flag law. It'll be hard to get into individual states and their requirements, but to kind of summarize everything, it is a direct bypass of due process of law. Now, what I mean by that is you could have a community or a family member, a doctor, a counselor, someone who believes that maybe you could harm yourself or someone else. They have the right to petition the law enforcement entity in that area and have your guns taken away. Now, sometimes it's 2 days, sometimes it's up to 45 days. The problem is there's no real path to reconcile these accusations. And in most cases, the individual or the subject of the red flag confiscation actually isn't given a right to speak or defend themselves until a final hearing. So I guess to summarize it, it's just it's a bypass of due process of law, and it actually, in my opinion, violates our amendments, and that is unlawful search and seizure.
I agree with that, and it sounds good on the surface, especially to the general public after a tragic shootings happened. That what could we have done ahead of time? So the idea is that theoretically you could identify somebody who was going to do something violent ahead of time. Well, the major problem with that is, one, there's no real way to know or predict, and two, the potential for the abuse of that. And what we see a lot is it's ex-spouses, girlfriends and boyfriends that want to punish, so they manipulate. They know that mechanism is in place, and that one of the things that bothers me about this is one of the times you might need your guns the most is when you're going through some kind of turmoil, family-wise, or maybe you've already used your gun in self-defense and then someone's questioning that self-defense, and therefore they use that as justification to go after your gun ownership. So I can imagine you would feel pretty helpless if law enforcement or the ATF is showing up wanting to enforce something like this on the average gun owner. So what can someone do to protect themselves, Vic?
Well, as a member of U.S. Law Shield, we help represent individuals who find themselves subject to such laws. Our recommendation is that you comply with the order, because if you resist, it now goes from a civil matter into a criminal matter. But comply with the law, contact your U.S. Law Shield attorney immediately, and we will represent you in obtaining your firearms back to their rightful owners.
Well, I'm a U.S. Law Shield member for a lot of reasons. One is so that I will have that protection if I unfortunately have to use my gun in self-defense. But you are the only entity, I say you, U.S. Law Shield is the only entity that I know of that actually covers red flag laws specifically.
That, to my knowledge, is correct as well. One of the unique things about U.S. Law Shield is that we not only cover for self-defense, but accidental discharge, negligent discharge, red flag laws, basically infringement on your right to carry for self-defense.
And not that you needed any more reason to want or need U.S. Law Shield coverage, but there's yet another one, and folks can do that by going to uslawshield.com. Is that right?
That is correct. Be sure, though, we have a special promotion for our Liberty Tree guests. And at the bottom right-hand corner of that page, when you sign up, be sure to type in the word Liberty Tree, all one word, and you're going to have some special promotions just for your listeners.
Yep, they're going to get 2 months for free. They're also going to lock in their rate. That's something we've broke down a lot on the show. We'll put more information on that. But if you're going to sign up for U.S. Law Shield, please do so by taking advantage of that promo code LibertyTree, because it does a couple things. It helps support those who support us. U.S. Law Shield's making this program possible. Mm-hmm. So you are getting something that you need as a gun owner. You're also supporting the show, and you're supporting people who believe what you believe. Vic, I want to thank you so much for being on with us.
It's a pleasure always. I look forward to the next time.
Thank you very much, Vic. Something was transpiring during that I want you to take care of for me, Logan.
Okay.
There's a customer who I think may wanted to buy something that's behind me.
Okay.
He's wearing a red hat. If your mobile cam's on, you might go over there, or just go over there without it. Either one's fine. And see, he was pointing, ask if he needs anything.
Gotcha.
Guys, this show is coming to you from the sales floor of a real-world operating gun store, and
we sell guns while we make shows.
oh, yeah, it's we're this of course is the show set, and this is my desk, and so this is not typical display. Like, we don't have product back here behind me on a normal day, but we do take some of the guns from our inventory and put them up on the wall. And right now, while inventory is kind of hard to get, and certain special things are hard to find, we need to make sure that we're not leaving a customer hanging. What'd you find out?
I'm going to grab that Ruger Precision from behind you.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, those aren't props, folks.
That's the
real deal.
And we have a customer that's interested in that. And so thank you, sir. We are live on the radio, and so we're getting your experience documented here. All right, so I could tell by the weight of this phone.
Yeah, that there's more in there?
There's more in here.
Well, let's see if we can draw it out.
Yeah, let's see if
let's see if we can draw it out
access
here.
that. And
Little
then
tricky. There you go. Put in those numbies. 208 918 70.
Hi, Eli. Hey, I'm calling from Carthage, Missouri. I want to know, I have a really kind of an off-color or different kind of question, but we're having some trouble with our neighbors' dogs getting into our trash, and, we've tried to deal with that, work with them and stuff, and they just don't seem to want to keep the dogs at home, and they're chasing cattle, and I don't want to eliminate the dog, but I remember some old-timers and stuff talking about, a rock salt load or something like that. What is something that I could pop them with and keep them off my property but not do damage? I guess more of kind of like a scare tactic. Let me know if you got any suggestions on that. I'd love to talk with you about it. Thanks.
Eli, I wonder, I guess a BB gun, you could probably put its eye out with that thing, but I'm sure if you popped it in the rear end with one of those, learn pretty quick.
For sure.
Pretty quick.
And, I know I'm going to upset some people right now.
Don't do it.
I don't want to, but it's the nature of farm life. It's the nature of outdoor and rural life. So I'm going to talk about not what I recommend that you do, but what you could do and what farmers have done for a long time. We're going to talk about what is a rock salt shotgun load, and I'll kind of explain how that works. Coming right up on The Gun Shop Show.
Land is everything to me. When I was born, I was brought home to the family farm, was raised, learned work ethic there, learned appreciation and respect for life and the land itself, and it just became second nature. I had to be there all the time. Whenever I wasn't on the land, I was not happy. But I learned to understand the land, learned to respect it, learned family values. My wife and I have bought a farm besides the one we live on, and it has just been it's been a great investment, and it's been someplace that my son and I have shared the passion of hunting together, and it's just land has been everything in my life. It has kind of kept me focused and gave me a place to be. It's kind of kept me grounded.
Hey, Adam and Lauren, thanks for jumping on here so we can make an ad for the show.
Yeah, absolutely. We're huge Second Amendment advocates and big supporters of the Liberty Tree and the Gun Shop Show.
All right, so for the ad, we're going to want to go over what you offer.
We do all the standard auto, home insurance, life insurance.
We also do a lot of rental property, whether that be commercial rental or residential, duplexes, apartment complexes, single-family dwellings. And we have specialty policies for all your firearms.
You have commercial coverage on my rental properties, so we can put that in the ad too. And I was thinking that we'll talk about how you're big supporters of the store and how you come in the store pretty much every day on your lunch break and buy guns.
Maybe don't mention the everyday thing, because my wife does watch the show, but we've been known to come in occasionally.
Every once in a while.
All right, guys, I think that we have everything we need to make an ad, so once I get it done, I'll give you guys a holler to check it out. Trevor, don't put it in the ad, but those guys are in here literally every day on their lunch break. Welcome back to the Gun Shop Show. We have been checking our voicemail, and during the last segment, we had a customer looking at one of the guns behind me, and so Logan had to sneak in because we, even at the expense of this production, which is now famous, by the way.
Yeah.
This is a big deal.
Right. We're huge, actually, in Australia, believe it or not.
Yeah,
I think there's like 2 people watching us over there. And there's only like 5 or 6 people in Australia or something like that.
I think 7.
That's 50% of the population.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive numbers.
We're getting, we're on TV now. We're on 2 radio stations, which, by the way, welcome Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah, welcome KSGF listeners.
You're like, you know what? I feel like Springfield is like my more sophisticated cousins that live.
They're like they're like your city cousins.
Yeah, they got their crap together.
They're working corporate jobs.
Yeah, and they're the ones that like your family's like, why can't you be more like Kyle?
Right.
And that.
So Springfield is Kyle in this situation.
So we want your influence. Springfield, call us 208-918-1776 and let us know if you're embarrassed to be affiliated with us.
We'll act like we don't. We won't make eye contact with you if it's that bad.
However you want us to play it off. But welcome on KSGF. We're going to be coming to you every Sunday. So tune in. And if you can't make it on the radio, make sure you grab the podcast or check it out on YouTube.
Yeah, it's an even better listen than it is a watch.
Yeah,
That's
you
what
don't
I hear.
have to see it. Yeah, that's the good thing.
Yep.
So right before the break, we had a caller, and the question was, I have some problem dogs on my farm. They're getting in trash. They're chasing cattle. I have heard, the caller said, that there is such a thing as a rock salt shotgun load. So let me just make a caveat real quick.
Okay.
Caveat it. Let's go full screen with you.
Caveat away.
I don't recommend that you shoot at dogs. Okay? So I'm not going to tell you how to shoot at your neighbor's dogs. I'm going to tell you the unfortunate reality of sometimes how farmers and people who live in rural areas have to deal with pests. Now, you are entitled under state law to protect your livestock from being harmed, up to and including taking out things that threaten it. But I think the caller's intent was, how do I just kind of make the dogs know that they're not welcome here? And that can absolutely be done.
Yeah.
Dogs are instinctive, just like wild animals. They know when there's a threat, and they can be trained very quickly when something is a threat or a deterrent to them. And you mentioned a BB or pellet gun.
Yeah, BB gun, but now that I'm thinking about it, a water hose. High speed water. You're not going to hurt the dog.
Well, a lot of people don't have access to a
get your access.
So let me tell you, I'm going to answer the question, okay, about rock salt.
Okay.
Because that was a thing that was more of an old school thing, but people do it, and I checked, are actually still available. But let me show you first. The way a shotgun shell works is you have a primer in the back. And again, if you're listening on the radio, we're showing all of this because there's always video to what we do here on the Gun Shop Show. And you can go to facebook.com/LibertyTreeGuns and join in on that. But I've got a shotgun shell in my hand. You have the primer end, and then on the other end, crimped down is the projectiles.
Hey, Eli, why don't you use the voicemail camera for that?
Good call.
Oh, yeah.
Good
There we
call.
go.
There you go.
Look at that.
See, this is why we keep you around, Logan.
See, Logan's always solving problems. Good job. Good suggestion.
Look at
so
that.
proud
so
of you
now
right
you're
now,
getting
Logan.
all the details. This is a highlight
Oh,
moment.
that looks so good.
We put
does.
together
Oh,
your resume on the Gun Shop Show. This will be one of those
Right?
moments.
It's going to be at the top of the list.
Okay, so essentially, before this is crimped down, you pour in, generally on shotgun shells, it's either buckshot or birdshot. Birdshot being like a fine lead pellet that would obviously penetrate and take down a bird or small game.
Gotcha.
What people would do is load in rock salt. So heavy grain granulated salt. And they actually still sell shotgun shells loaded that way. And the reason is they'll still fly through the air. They'll still create a pattern. If you want to show, that was just one link that we found of a place that still
Gum Gully.
Yeah, still sells rock salt loads. That was a way to do a few things. It still gave the big boom, which is the thing that when those animals start to associate a threat with that sound, then all it takes is that sound.
Right.
And shotguns are a pretty common thing to use for this because they're not going to over-penetrate. So even if you're using regular birdshot shells, you have, within probably 50, 60 yards of immediate threat area where it would penetrate. Beyond that, it might hit it and not even penetrate.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I witnessed growing up, again, I'm not recommending that you do this, was, and this is after animals had been persistent. You tried all,
all the nice ways,
the shooing, the throwing a stick, throwing a rock,
hit him with the
and you got to keep in mind some of these, they're almost like feral dogs. They're not like your. Oh, he just wanted petted, and then there you can grab him by the
he
collar.
just wanted some smooches.
This is sometimes dogs that are aggressive. If you get up, they're skittish, and
they're basically like a Bonnie and Clyde version of the dog, right?
Dog. And
I'm bringing it home, man.
So very good. Bring it all back around. No, what we would experience when we dealt with these difficult and sometimes damaging and violent animals is what I saw happen was. Farmer would either fire around above them or do something so that they turn. And even then, even though they were a problem animal, they still didn't want to take their eye out or anything like that. So what I would see was get them to where they turned and run, and then they would pop them in the rear end area.
At least trying to do them right.
Bird shot. And because they would learn, and they wouldn't come back, and they wouldn't engage in whatever the activity was. So you can do that, although pellet guns work really good. And it doesn't, the big boom is obviously more menacing sounding, but it doesn't, it's not necessary to deter those animals, and you can get pretty decent range on a pellet gun with low velocity to kind of accomplish the same thing. There are also lots of other less lethal options you can buy in shotgun rounds, up to and including beanbag rounds and pepper ball rounds. And those things could also be used to deter unwanted pests.
Right.
Again, I don't recommend shooting a firearm at a dog, but if you had to, or if a farmer, not me, were giving you advice, that's probably what they would tell you.
Eli, while you were describing that shotgun shell and the front end of it, I couldn't help but remember that crimping ain't easy. Crimping, it ain't easy.
I wasn't going to laugh, and then I almost spit-taked.
Yeah.
So it snuck up on me. That was one of those jokes.
That's one of those backdoor jokes.
Yeah. But actually, crimping is easy with one of the many reloading presses available at Liberty Tree Guns.
It's also fun, too.
It's also fun. That's what they used to call me back.
They used to call you fun?
Big crimping.
Oh, big crimping.
Yeah.
Is that because you would always crimp your hair?
I was always crimping. No, but I do have kind of a Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, you're looking really youthful there, man.
I look very like Maroon 5.
You know what? You know what I notice is that little spike right there, it takes all the focus off of your widow's peak.
Well, I'm peeking. I'm really peeking.
Yeah.
That's the
He's peeking in two, but you got peaks and valleys.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Nothing like a $60 webcam do.
To really shine up the old forehead.
To really bring in the receding hairline.
Right.
In fact, I was actually reading on the back of this, and this is a Logitech Hairline 450.
Oh, yeah? We should get the one that actually fills in your hair.
It's actually designed to
highlight.
Capture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that is such an awesome shot right there.
It actually doesn't pick up anything but receding hairlines properly.
Yeah, and then also blasts them with light.
Right, yeah.
As if you hadn't seen it well enough.
Yeah, as if I didn't know. It's trying to let me know.
It's your turn next, Logan.
Okay, all right. Do we have time for the third voicemail? Because this thing keeps piling up.
Yeah. We have about a minute out.
Oh man, a minute. Okay, so I'm gonna take the minute to
take the floor.
Let me take the floor for a minute.
Warm their hearts.
The floor is yours.
So first of all, the Gun Shop Show coming to radio stations and TV stations all across this great land. We need your help. Tell your local station that you want the Gun Shop Show on.
Tell 'em.
We're going to be knocking on those doors. The other thing you can do is stay tuned. When we end on the radio, you can join the real after party, which is the overflow. So
Yeah, we also are in the comments. We like to comment with our fans.
Yeah,
so
we're staying there in there like swimwear.
yeah, we're not abandoning you like somebody's
swimwear.
parents.
Okay. So you can stay right here on the live stream, or if you're on the radio, go to facebook.com, type in Liberty Tree Guns. You can find the feed right there. You can stay with us on the overflow of the Gun Shop Show.
Commercial idea for net fishes. I walk into the commercial director, we'll call him's office. I say to him, "Hey, how's it going?" He replies, "Good. We got your commercial ready to go. Are you ready to listen?" "Yeah, but before I do, I have an idea I want to float by you." He says, "Okay," a bit sarcastically. And I say, "All right." And I clear my throat and I start singing this song, something similar. Net fishes, we're all really good friends, hanging out and stuff, and having memories to talk about when we were young. It's net fishes. And I say the business name wrong, like fish nets. He replies, "That's terrible. And you didn't even say the right business name at the end. It's your business." Then it cuts to fish snatches. Net fishes, where we can all be friends. End commercial.
The Gun Shop Show, the Gun Shop Show. What is it? We don't know. The Gun Shop Show, the Gun Shop Show. Here we go, it's the Gun Shop Show.
I tell you what, I'm thankful for our loyal fans.
Yeah,
because
me too.
If it weren't for them, I would not have energy.
No.
For the overflow.
Yeah.
Because it's already a 2-hour show.
Yeah, and you got 3 kids and 10 businesses. And
I've been finding gray hairs in my beard lately.
Oh, yeah, that happened to me too, man.
the
But,
start.
you got like that presidential, not swagger, but workload, where you're working like 26 hours a day.
And a lot of it has to do with my special project.
Yeah.
That's what's really cutting into my sleep time.
I bet, dude. I don't have the kind of special projects that you do, but I understand the gravity of that situation.
Yeah, because I've been working, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
On teleportation.
Okay.
Yep.
And
did you get it anywhere?
I'm close. The problem is still the container. So I've mastered taking, with molecular
molecules,
depolarization,
quarks and stuff.
I'm able to take stuff and people and transport them to another place in lifetime. But the container, I've been using cardboard.
Yeah.
I tried to use an old VW Beetle, but it was
you don't
too heavy.
Use those.
Have you tried like a fishing aquarium, like a large one?
How large?
I don't know, enough for a person, I guess.
No,
okay.
I've actually used a fish bowl.
Oh.
And that worked for the fish.
Yeah.
But because I couldn't go with him, the fish, he's stuck out there.
Out where?
Just out there.
I'm not sure.
Who knows where he's at?
Yeah, he's on his own. And so,
good luck
but
fishing.
the only thing is that if I just had a square container.
Right.
That was like 3 foot by 3 foot with a handle on it.
Cool.
Then I could successfully teleport from one place to another and not get stuck there.
Well, have you considered the porta potty?
The porta potty?
Logan's personal porta potty back there.
You
I have a small bladder.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm not using the porta potty. You've brought it up several times.
Hey, speaking of, I kind of have to use the bathroom.
Oh, right here
So-
on the show.
Dude, I have a small
Trevor
bladder.
Trevor
I
wants
forget
me to use
tiny baby bladders.
and I told him I'd put the equipment in it just to humor him.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want that to be where my technology lives, you know?
Yeah, it's
Right.
kind of silly.
Yeah. It'll have that.
Because what would we even call it? You
I don't know.
I just need it for the show to be able to teleport.
Like a teleportation porta potty.
A teleporta potty.
Ooh.
Teleporta potty.
But that's
got a
just
nice
here
ring to it.
for
It's for me.
Yeah, that's for
a
Logan's
bathroom,
small
so
bladder.
He doesn't have
so
to
the
go
viewers
all the
know
way.
I have
Yeah.
a small bladder.
He's got like a
I
4
use
foot
that at
radius.
least 2 times during
Per
the show.
show.
You guys
Usually.
never see it.
No.
But I have to use the bathroom, so
Okay.
I will see you guys.
All right. Well,
So
yeah, go ahead.
I just to humor you.
Mm-hmm. I'm humored.
I said, okay, I'll put all my equipment in the in the porta potty, but I'm not going to use that.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, why not?
It's tacky to have that
Well, I mean,
as the container.
well, I mean, obviously, it's not something you would want to use while you're teleporting, because who knows what could happen. You could end up anywhere. Like, I don't know, like maybe at a museum or something all of a sudden while you're going to the bathroom. That's not cool. And then,
Holy, what just happened?
I was using the
You did-
bathroom.
You were in there with my equipment?
And then I went to flush.
and then
Oh my! You did not. You didn't push the orange lever. Did
you made that active?
That was the only lever to flush.
I thought you said not to.
Oh my god. I forgot to pull up my pants.
That's the least you could do. What just happened?
I don't know, dude. But we should.
Does that mean it worked?
I don't know. We should
I
probably.
don't think I wiped. Wait, yeah, I did.
The container's still there. Guys, we just had our first successful teleportation.
Oh.
Are you saying I
Weird.
just teleported from the bathroom right next to you?
I think that's what just happened.
There's no way.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You heard it here first.
introducing the teleporta potty. If you could go ahead and slide over there, pull up your pants. We have more voicemails to check.
Let's check that voicemail. Any minute now.
I'm just
check
glad
the voicemail.
I can get some sleep now.
Yeah, finally. Yeah, you've been grouchy.
Yeah,
You've been
I'm sorry about that.
You've been a bit real Beyonce lately.
Yeah,
Sorry if
about that.
you saw anything, Eli.
Probably didn't.
It
Yeah.
I feel like
Not
in a
much to
way
see.
we're closer.
You feel closer now?
It just, I don't know. Yeah.
We just crossed a boundary that we had not yet crossed.
Uh-huh.
But
And it's because I was scared, okay?
it's in the name of science.
It's cold.
It was cold, and you were swimming, and
the dog was barking
yeah.
by the bushes.
Yeah. Teleportation's not a simple thing.
It's not. It requires a lot of
Side effects. There's some side effects.
and a lot of concentration too.
Yeah.
Basically meditation.
Hey. Let's fire.
Hey
the
there,
voice.
my name's Pat, calling from the Ocho. Like listening to you guys remind me of Bob and Doug McKenzie. Might be before your time, giving away my age there. Good day, eh? Bye.
Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Those old two guys.
Those guys.
Woo!
Who's Bob and Doug McKenzie?
You don't know who Bob and Doug McKenzie
I
is?
guarantee your mom knows. who
Yeah,
Bob
your
and Doug
mom
McKenzie-
knows who
What do you mean
Bob
my
and
mom
Doug-
knows Bob and Doug McKenzie?
She knows who
I've
they
heard. Let's just say I've heard.
are. There's rumors.
Your mom knows.
No,
them.
she doesn't know him.
She knows them real well.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to call and ask.
Call it.
Get her on the
Call
phone,
Logan's
man.
mom.
In the meantime, let's introduce the folks to who Bob and Doug McKenzie is. These guys.
So I don't know how to take this.
Yeah.
Because these guys look a little goofy.
Well, I don't know who's Rick
Mom.
Moranis and who
I'm
I
live
can't
at-
remember the other
I'm
guy's
live at the
name.
Gun Shop show, and the guys
But
here are
I
saying that
don't know, man.
You
I
know
don't
what?
know.
No shame in it. I watched a clip.
Yeah.
And they're talking about American beer.
Oh, that's right.
Canadian
Bob
beer.
and Doug McKenzie.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty funny bit.
They're
Yeah.
Talking
adamant
about how
you know
weak our
Bob and
beer
Doug
is, and
McKenzie.
that's why you have to be able to pop those tops off.
So I
That's what
feel
I
being
thought.
compared to famous. I'll take it.
Well,
Yeah,
oh,
I'm not
okay,
offended by it.
cool.
I mean, I'd like to think that we're more like
Well, thank
the
you
Beatles,
for
but
Did you
all the help.
actually call your mom?
Yeah, I called my mom.
does she know who Bob and
I
Doug
guarantee
McKenzie
she
are?
knows. What'd your mama say?
Yeah,
She
what'd
said
Mom
there's
say?
some Canadian radio show hosts.
See,
Some standard.
See, we knew.
I told you she knew who they were.
She came in here last week, and we were telling her about them, and she's like, "Yeah, I know who they are."
Yeah, that's what we
I
meant.
gotcha.
That's all we
I
meant.
gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I got to go back to the show.
Yeah,
I love
say
you,
bye to
everybody.
mom.
Bye, Logan's
Bye,
mom.
mom. Bye, mom.
Yeah,
she's
I'll take care of the cat when I get
she's
home. Okay,
she's my
love you,
mom
bye.
too now. Mm-hmm.
All right.
I just adopt moms.
Anyway, yeah, she knows him.
Cool.
So
Just
I was
as we suspected.
I was
Mhm.
wrong.
We called it.
You guys are right.
We called it.
Hey, if you're just tuning in, I was gonna say if you're just tuning in, that's not how the show normally is. But
Oh, it
I'm gonna be
is.
honest with you.
He's gonna be honest with you
I'm gonna be
guys.
honest with you guys. I'm a little bit retarded.
Whoa. Whoa.
That's a quote. That wasn't me saying that.
Oh, someone
I
said
do have
that
a
about you.
question. Is that one of the 7 words you can't say on the radio?
Technically, not.
Yeah,
No.
I don't.
Okay.
It's not generally, but there's a famous. That's a meme.
Oh, okay.
I'm being
Ah,
honest.
if it's
with you guys.
memeable, it's-
I'm a little bit.
You're quoting. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
Well, hey, while we're
Let's check the voicemail.
and around, I was just gonna let's play a video or a voicemail here.
Yeah.
You want to get your hairy forearms on there? Hey, take it easy, man.
God.
Proprietary technology and stuff.
Do you need help?
Hairline cam.
Yeah, there you go. Thinning
I
hair
think
cam.
it's funny that Eli has the hairiest knuckles I've ever seen. When I have like these arms,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
my knuckles,
That's
not that hairy.
Why couldn't we balance
Yeah, it's
that out?
right.
You
I
got
know.
Logan looks like he's got like a sloth draped across his arms.
sloth.
looks
What should we
He's got
name?
sloth arms.
Hey, what should we name the sloth? That's the question we should be asking.
Logan's
Dribbles.
arms.
Dribbles? I like
Dribbles the
dribbles.
sloth. Do sloths dribble?
I don't know where that came from.
I thought maybe they just drooled a lot or something.
I thought this had more voicemails in it.
It does.
Hey guys, this is Jason from Carthage. I have a question about some non-lethal defense options. If you had anything like that, if you do, what are they? How do they work and all that? Just kind of interested in some non-lethal defense options. Thanks. Bye.
Lay some knowledge on him.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about that.
Do it.
Do you have the mobile cam fired up?
Yes.
I'm so excited about
Yes.
the mobile cam because we have.
I'm-
That's going to be a
Yeah.
lot more involved in the show
Yeah. Well, I'm super stoked too.
because we
About
have a
it.
big new sponsor
Yeah.
that sponsored the mobile cam,
Uh-huh.
and the mobile cam is going to be more awesomer because
Oh,
of it.
definitely
awesome.
more awesome.
And so
more better.
We're going to roll that out. You having trouble with that?
He can't go mobs.
I have big troubles.
Did you get that
can't
link?
Go mobs.
So the issue is it's the wrong link. It's the old link.
What? I just sent you the right one.
When did that happen?
Okay.
Well,
so while we diagnose this, let's.
I'm gonna copy it here.
Okay.
And I'm gonna send
Cool.
it.
Sweet.
It's-
Non-lethal self-defense options.
I have a question. Sorry to interrupt. Rock.
Fine. We're just making a show.
We're
right?
quitting
Go
the
ahead.
show,
So
everybody.
I was thinking rock salt. That's just salt, right? Can you like cook with it?
Yeah.
Sweet. So you're saying that you could load a rock
Yep.
salt shell to your shotgun,
Salt up some steaks.
right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's
Pop
awesome.
them on the grill.
Why don't we do that?
We should do that.
We should.
Yeah, absolutely should do that.
As long as you guys want to see it, of course.
Let us know. Do you want us to grill up some steaks with rock salt ammunition? I was talking about sponsors.
Yeah,
And
let's go there.
non-lethal self-defense options, right? But I want to take a second to talk about what is a sponsor of the Gun Shop Show and why should you consider being one. Here we go. I can tell by the bad audio experience that
Let me
we
try to
have
fix it.
actually
Let me
created.
try to fix it. Oh my god, it's so
Oh my God, it's so
loud. Is that better?
My goodness, it sounds like
Oh
Thanksgiving.
wow! I didn't realize I had the 4-way cam on while I walked away from
Yes,
the show.
you did.
Oh, don't mind me, just doing some tech support.
Yeah, okay. This is falling apart. I was starting to tell
This
you
is
how
the
awesome
show,
the show
guys.
was. I'm going to skip.
Give it a little rotate
I'm gonna-
action there, Logs, and turn on and off the.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, forget it. Forget what I was saying.
My God.
My God.
It's still gonna do it.
It's still gonna do it.
What are we going to do about this?
I muted the. Or no, I didn't. Now I did.
Okay.
Now we can
that hurt.
be more professional.
That hurt.
Now we're into it.
Okay. Non-lethal self-defense at Liberty Tree Guns. These types of tumultuous times tend to breed these kinds of questions because people see circumstances where protests are bleeding over into violence and violence bleeding over into protests and then thinking about how could I make sure I stay safe? How could I deter an attack on myself without using deadly force? There are a lot of products on the market, and we got several in. So what I want to do is activate the mobile cam.
Oh, it's activated.
I'm just going to say it. Pro Outfitters is our new sponsor.
Oh.
This is the Pro Outfitters mobile cam, and soon it's going to be choice.
We're gonna
Huge.
dress it up.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
Shake that rock salt.
Mhm.
And
We're gonna blast it with style.
Yeah.
With rock salt style.
yeah. But let's activate the Pro Outfitters mobile cam.
That's ready.
It's ready.
There it is.
Thank you. It'll be like that, but better. Okay, so Logan's going to take us across the store, which is many paces. You know, it used to not be. See how he's gone lots of paces? Before, it was only a few paces.
It was half those amount of paces at one point.
A quarter.
And then a quarter. Oh yeah, a quarter, then half.
And then now it's
Mini.
Yeah. Okay, so here we are looking at some of our non-lethal self-defense options. Right there is a handheld stun gun.
Yikes, that induces intense pain.
What is like a taser, essentially. It's not
Yeah.
a taser, but taser's actually a brand. So people
Right.
would throw around the word taser. It's kind of like zipper wasn't,
Right,
you know,
or
technically.
Kleenex.
Yeah, exactly. Give me a Kleenex. But that's a brand name. So does that have the voltage listed on that?
Yeah, it was like 950,000 volts.
That's a lot of volts.
Yeah, that is a lot of volts.
And so that is extremely painful and can be a deterrent. But I'm going to tell you my 2 cents on what kind of personal defense tool that you should use, and that is pepper spray. Pepper spray is extremely effective, and I actually recommend it in most cases, even more so than something like a stun gun, because one, you have to be within reaching distance for a stun gun to work, which means that if you are encountering someone that is as powerful or more that could potentially
Yeah, you don't
overpower
want to put
you,
their hands on you.
you're gonna have to touch them to make that
Right.
effective, which means you're already closer than you want to be.
Yeah.
Pepper spray, and the other thing is when it's done cycling. So we have a couple of stun gun options there. I think there's a stun gun flashlight to the left, right there, right?
Oh, that's fancy.
Yeah.
450 lumens. How many volts is that? Tactical bat.
Oh, that one's not the stun gun one. They do make some stun gun flashlights.
That almost sounds like a joke product.
The bat light?
Yeah. In between innings, if it gets dark, light your way with bat light.
Don't make fun of the product.
Yeah, it's effective.
It is pretty funny. Okay, but what it's saying about pepper spray in comparison, you can discharge that from a distance. And once you've been hit by pepper spray, you will not be back in the fight soon.
Yeah, it's going to interrupt whatever you're doing almost immediately.
It
Guaranteed.
makes it difficult to breathe. It doesn't actually inhibit your breathing. It's just your respiratory system's reaction to that much stimulus. It keeps you from being able to see. You physically can't open your eyes.
Yeah.
And therefore makes it a longer lasting deterrent.
25 bursts. Does it have the distance on it, Logan? I'd be curious to know what the range is on that.
So it depends on the size of the canister, but a lot of them range from 12 feet up to 25 or 35 feet.
It says 12 feet. How I deploy. 12 feet right there. Yeah, that's. I mean, you need the best of both worlds. Then carry pepper spray and whatever the other thing was.
Yeah.
The stun gun.
Right.
You know, get them far away, and if they somehow break through that, then you stun them.
Right. So there's a couple options for you. Are you taking us to any more, Logan? Shake the mobile cam up and down for yes.
No, that was a no.
Okay. So we're having a lot of fun on the Gun Shop.
We're having
show.
a good time, folks. We're having a good time.
How many more voicemails do we have?
Let's go look and see. We have one more.
One more voicemail?
One more, I think.
Okay, let's get Logan back. If he could just hop in the teleporter potty, save some time.
Yeah.
Skip over here.
If only he had that with him.
Yeah. Well, now we know it works.
Now we can actually use it.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it could probably use a little more dressing.
I mean, I'm going to have to permanently mount some of the fixtures that are just sitting inside right now. I mean, because it's proof right now someone could accidentally activate that. He was just trying to flush.
Yeah.
And hit the orange lever.
Yeah, that's proof.
I was trying to be respectful.
Could use a sign or something to let people know, do not flush.
Do not flush.
Do not flush
Was
this
there another lever in there? I only saw the orange one.
Yeah, there's the regular flush.
You got your standard flush?
There's flush with teleport. Standard flush.
Yeah.
Oh, the sign in there said flush or flush.
Like,
I did the
how many U's were in that?
There was at least 6.
I was going to call it flush plus, but
flush plus.
Okay, let me activate.
Yep, get it going.
Because if you want to leave your own voicemail on the Gun Shop Show, all you have to do is just call.
08 918 1776.
Ooh, Eli. Hello, this is Betty here. And me and Big Daddy came into the store there about a week ago to take a look at all your pew-pew guns. And Big Daddy said he thinks that when I'm sporting this 4-carat rock he bought me, that I probably need to have some protection. So I just wanted to say that your boys there, helped me out. Big Daddy and I picked out several guns. And he said, whenever I goes to town now, I need to make sure I take my little firearm with me. And he even bought me the prettiest purse for me to hide it in when I go into the Walmart. So once again, thank you for all your help at Liberty Tree, and me and Big Daddy will be back in soon. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
That's an actual customer.
I could see that being Bonnie and Clyde calling.
You guys don't know Big Daddy?
Yeah.
I don't know Big Daddy.
Oh my gosh.
I guarantee you, if someone that goes by Big Daddy is going to be indignant that you don't. Oh, you know Big Daddy. You know
Big Daddy is.
You know him.
Married to Big Mama.
4-carat rock. So here's the thing. People think we're joking. You can call and leave anything in the voicemail box and make it on the show.
There are no rules.
Well, there's some rules.
You can say whatever you want.
No.
There's some rules.
What? No. Like what? Name a rule.
No crap.
Trevor,
see, there are no rules.
Whoa. Trevor, you told us not to call in about your dad.
Oh. Feel free to call in about my dad.
Oh, there are no rules.
It'd be great if my dad called. It's like, Trevor, this is your dad.
He's like, I'm disappointed.
He's like, I've teleported here to let you know.
Right. If you could not talk about those things. We would appreciate it.
Actually, if you could sign this non-disclosure agreement.
Seesaw talking.
Okay.
Well, thank you to those customers for coming in. We greatly appreciate it.
So here's some things that are happening on the Gun Shop Show. We are expanding our reach, okay, covering topics like the hunt for Bonnie and Clyde. We're bringing in some great guests like Roy Huntington. Coming up soon, we're going to have Ava Flanell of Gun Funny. We've had a lot of really good guests, and we are growing the show all the time. But we need your help. We need your help.
We do.
Okay?
A little bit of help.
We need some help.
We need you to join the Facebook group, which we're going to blow up. We're going to keep blowing it up. So we need as many members as we can in that. But then the other thing is, anywhere we can stream this show, we need you to become our advocates. If you know of a TV or radio station where you have a connection, let them know that there's some guys that you know that need to be on their platform.
Friends. We're good friends.
Right.
We're your friends in the gun business.
We're your friends in the gun business.
We're more
right
than just
here
their
at Liberty
friends in
Tree
the gun
Guns.
business. We're their friends, literal friends.
That's right. So special thank you to our sponsors, which include... You got a list right there? Let's just name them all.
I have a list.
Do we have a
I
list?
asked if you did.
Oh no!
Because I know you.
yeah,
I know you have a list.
I got a list.
Of
You know,
course
I've got a
do.
spreadsheet.
Okay, so I'll start naming them.
Okay.
U.S. Law Shield, our flagship sponsor.
that's one. Mhm. Yep.
Our brand new sponsor, Pro Outfitters,
Yeah,
which we're
that's
going to
another one.
introduce you to thoroughly. A special thank you to them.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought our flagship sponsor was Liberty Tree Guns. They believe in
Not
us.
anymore. We dumped those guys.
Yeah, those guys are
Far for
old
the best.
news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The owner was kind of weird.
Who's gonna break the news to Liberty Tree?
Yeah,
Eli.
it's awkward.
Yeah, that's
Eli,
what.
if you
Those
could
are
do
host
that.
duties.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll
All
tell
right.
him. I'll let him know.
That's.
Thank you to Old Glory Auctions,
Yep.
Cherry's Art Emporium,
Yep,
and
yep.
the Woodshed on the beautiful Carthage Square. Cave Gang Pizza and Pub, Mighty Fine Wood Fire Pizza Establishment, Net Fishes,
Oh yeah.
I've heard of them.
Nuts and Cheese. Thank you to Nuts and Cheese.
Nuts and cheese.
Nuts and cheese.
And then
Very good.
go ahead and read the rest of them.
The Deck Company.
Big shout out to Deck
Joplin.
Joplin. He
Love
brought me
them.
a hat.
Oh, that's nice.
So now I got a hat on my desk
Oh.
from him. So thank you to
That is pretty cool. I mean, are our hats also on your desk?
Yeah. He said something about T-shirts too. and stuff.
I don't know about that.
Oh.
Who else should we say thanks to?
Whitetail Properties.
Whitetail
Absolutely.
Properties. We should say thank you to Whitehead
Farm
Supply.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And we need to say thank you to our listeners because
Absolutely.
without you, there would be no Gun Shop Show.
That's a pretty nice shoe you got there.
Thank you.
High quality.
We sure appreciate everything you do, following us every Saturday, right here on your favorite gun program,
And
The
mine.
Gun Shop Show. That was the worst flow we've ever done.
Oh, the worst?
But also the best.
We'll do worse than that, guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
You know I try to be the best at everything, even being the worst.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's the best at being the worst.
Except the honor. It's an honor to be here.
We should
folks.
test out our announcer.
I don't have
job.